Thanks for the front view. You know, there's a lot of good things in your swing. We obviously want to get you to compress the ball. You know, from what it looks like on the front view there is some pretty good compression of the golf ball in terms of the handle, at least leaning forward at impact, so that's what we like to see. What I saw from the side view is a little bit of a loss of posture, and what I mean by that, you know, you're going to have an inclination to the ground as you start to swing, and when you swing back, you do pretty good. I could probably see where we could have your right hip move back a little bit more, but when you start to swing down, I think this is more so where the lack of compression comes, is your pelvis is actually going to start to move in a little bit, ever so slightly, and then I do think that it's probably moving a little bit too much towards the target as well, that there's just this horizontal slide, so there's really nothing, you know, there's no push into the ground, there's no force pushing you back up, and I think that's why you can't apply a lot of force to the handle of the club to really get that compression. There's really just a horizontal slide, and whatever speed you have is just going to be generated from the uncocking of your wrist. So I wouldn't worry. You probably could bring your right hip back a little bit, but I think in the downswing, to create some room to allow you to maintain your posture and put some force down on the club, I think when you swing down, you're going to be taking your left hip and you're going to flex a little bit, so it's almost like you're flexing the top part of your quads, like sitting down, squatting, you know, something like that, and you're going to be taking your left hip and moving it back over your left heel, rather than moving it a little bit in and then a little bit too much this way, because you'll see where at impact a lot of really good players, they have the hands covering their left thigh. Yours, I'm assuming it wasn't quite in slow-mo, I'm assuming it's probably going to be in between your right and left leg. So, and that could be that's just evidence of the lack of compression. So I think that for you to get this force on the club and have that club, the handle really leading the club, I think we need to create some space here, but I also think we need to push into the ground to get some force from there as well. So swinging down, I would say the priority is in the downswing, so the right hip moving back more like this. You know, I think that's something that's going to help, but I think your left hip moving back and then flexing the quads or starting that push down, pushing your pelvis down and pushing your left hip over your left heel. I think that's more of a priority than bringing your right hip back, but I do think that it might even help you do that downswing piece. So reflexing of the pelvis, right? Kind of flexing the quads, squatting, and then feeling like your left hip is going to be moving back towards your left heel. I think that's going to give you some room to apply some force on the club and get that compression you're talking about. But you know, honestly, there's a lot of really good things. That divot to the right, we don't really want to do too much. You know, swinging to the right is obviously good for a draw. But you know, keep me updated with some swings. And you know, as you get better, the changes are going to be a lot smaller, but they're in most cases going to be a lot harder. So keep me updated with swings, and we can just stay in contact.